So we have that particular specific query. Can we use the text which is already there inside these radio buttons? Can we use that and apply that particular specific thing to change that particular image accordingly? Yes, we can do that. And let me go here. What we can do, I can just make it a comment, and then we can say that we have a string variable str is equal to view dot get text. Again, look at that, it is coming as a top view. First of all, we need to convert that into the radio button. So how we can do that? We can say that converting that into the radio button dot get text. Still, it's, I need to assign it to some variable. For example, I say that radio button rb is equal to this thing. We need to convert it into the radio button, and then we say that view. So it will convert that thing into that particular specific radio button, and then we can get text. Again, look at that, this text giving me a sequence of characters, not a string. So we need to convert that into the toString, so that it is toString now. Understand? So we have converted that into the string. Now let me see that if we can use the switch statement, and then we say that str, and we can say that case, and of course we need to have that our book, and then we are actually using the same thing here, the same image, and then we can say that let me copy. Okay, let me copy this thing here. The reason is that we are going to use the same thing here. I don't want to make it like this. I want to make all of these as an uncommented. Okay, and they are saying that we can't use this one thing, so we can simply say that, what is that, bdrill, and then we can have bdrill, and then we have blast twice, and then we can have Bulbasaur. Is it right that what you want?
That's not really what I was thinking. I was thinking more of this. Instead of having a switch second or F step or something, just have the my image dot set image resource r dot drawable dot str, something like that. So you just
Okay, let me discuss it with you what you want exactly, but this is what I understand from your. Okay, so we can have this thing, and then let me see if it is working perfectly fine or not. I think we have to provide the exact names which is here. Blastoise, it is not working. Okay, I think there is something like BDRILL, so it should be L here as well. Let me see, we have BLASTOISE. Okay, BLAST, and then we also have LOIC, Blastoise. We need to correct here as well, I suppose. It is not the here we have fine, but here we need to remove that particular L. And then Bulbasaur is working, yes. Butterfree is working, and then Charizard is working. These two we need to connect. Okay, so maybe we can go back here and then change those things which we need to do that. Drill is fine. Blast twice. Okay, and that's it. So we can see. So what you are expecting? What I mean?
instead of the switch statement, just have the set the image to the r.drawable.str, the text you got.
No. That's not possible. I mean, you are saying that we do something like this, like we have the RBOK, and then here you want to put that particular specific, like the what you call that view, what you can say that RB radio button,
Not just the string like that, str.
because this is not a string, this is an integer value. We need to understand this is an integer. Look, this is an integer value which is represented by the r.drawable and the RBOK. They have defined the integer value, they are not the strings. So we can't use the text over there which is there inside the text box or something like that, or even the radio buttons. We can't use it. These are the integer values, not the strings. Remember that thing. The input which is coming here in that particular specific set image draw, it is an integer value, not a string.
Okay.
For us, it is a name, but actually for the Android system, it is an integer value. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Good. So we have seen that we can use the text inside instead of the ID, but I think ID one is the much better. As I told you, when we are comparing with the string comparison is a much more complex process as compared to the integer comparisons or integer equality checking. Okay, so let me switch to my. So we have seen this thing. Now what we want. Let us implement. We have implemented that thing. We don't need to worry about it. So now I want to build this particular specific game. We have a text view where we have given the title. Then we have a text view where we are putting all those rules. If you click on the button which is greater than larger button, you will get 5 points. That we will want to show it here. And if you want, if you click on the wrong button, you will lose your 5 points. These are the rules of this game. Simple one. But we will implement all those events. Again, to simplify my process, I have implemented. So let me close this particular specific project. And don't worry, I will put all these codes available on the Moodle after the class. So let me close it. And I have created that particular specific. So I have that particular specific. What you can say that I have created that particular specific GUI already there. Again, I have simple constraint layout. Inside the constraint layout, we have a title, text view. Then we have the text view, which is representing this one. I put all those constraints to make it look like. Then we have the button, which is actually on the left side. And look, I have assigned the IDs as well. Left button, right button, because we need these IDs to putting all those constraints as well. And definitely we are going to use these IDs to connect our variables within our Java code. Okay, so then we have a text view, that is the score, and then this is the score we need to change. So we have a test score as well. So what we need to do, we need to generate two random numbers and show them on these particular specific buttons, left button and the right button. And then if the user has clicked on the right, then I need to show, and in the beginning I want to show 0 here. Instead of the score, I want to show 0 score here. And if the user has clicked on the right button, then it will be added 5. And if user has clicked on the wrong button, which is containing the smaller number, then this score should go down by 5 points. Understand? So let's start implementing. So I think that there is something wrong here. Okay, fine. That everything. So we have all those IDs assigned. This is a text view because we need those IDs for the relative constraint, relative positioning. So we have already assigned those IDs. This is what we are interested in. We want to access this left button, we want to access this right button, and then we also want to access this score text. So we have two buttons and one text view. So let me define those variables here. Button, I say left button, and then I also have a right button, and then we also have a text view, score text, and then I am trying to define certain variables, integer, left number, right number, and scores or score. And you know that by default, whenever we are not assigning any value, their default values of these left, right, and score is 0. Even I can show you without any, I don't assign any value, and then I can just left button is equal to find by view id r.id dot left button, and then we have a right button is equal to find by view, not finish, find by view id r.id dot right button, and then we have the score text, not score, score text is equal to find by view id r.id dot score text, no title, score text. So we have assigned it, and then we can simply say score text dot set text, and then we need to provide the scores. By default, it should be fine in the Java. Automatically it will convert into the string, but that's not going to happen here. It's an integer type, and what we are expecting a string input. So we need to convert that particular specific thing into this thing. Maybe we can say that toString. Do we have method here? No. So what we can do? How we can convert that particular specific integer value into the string? Integer dot toString. Do we have here toString, and take an integer as an input? So we can give the score as an input. It will convert that into the string and set the text. Let me run this thing, and then you can see. I will just try to make it the default one and go into that emulator. Does it show me the 0 score? Yep. I didn't assign any value to the scores. By default, it is 0. The default value for that particular integer is score. Of course, if you want to make sure that it is not going to, sometime maybe at some architectures, some systems, it is not going to work. It will show you a garbage value. But to make sure that nothing happened, then we can simply say that to make sure that everything is set, we can say that score is equal to 0. And then now the point is, we need to show two numbers here. Yes or no? We need to generate two random numbers. So we can make another method here. Maybe we can say that we have a private method. It does not return me anything. Generate numbers, and so we have this left button, we have this right button. We can access them in this particular specific method and generate. So we have a specific method that is we can say that int, or we can simply use the left button, not left button, left number. Left number is equal to math dot random. This particular specific method, let me show you this thing, dot random. It give me a double value between 0 and 1. It means less than 1, 0 point something. And if I multiply that particular specific value, for example, with 1000, what will happen? It will have 3 digits before the decimal point, and then the remaining part will be on the decimal part. And the other thing is, if I convert that particular specific number, that random generates a number between 0 and 1, 0 point something, multiply 1000, so it will become a number. If I just try to convert that into the integer value, then it will give me a number between 0 and 1000, sorry. 0 to 999, because 3 digits before that. So 3 digits, it always be less than 1000. So it will give me a number like this. Yes or no? Okay. The same thing we can do for the right one as well. Right number, we have generated 2 numbers. Although they are the random numbers, but maybe they are become equal. You never know. Maybe. Yes or no? Maybe they are equal. We are not sure because we are generating the random numbers. We don't want them to be equal. Reason is that what we are asking the user, click on the larger number. If they are equal, then the user will be confused. So we have to generate 2 different numbers which are not equal. What we can do? We can say while left number is double equal to right number. I mean, we are checking. If they are equal, generate another pair of numbers and put them over. And that will be continue unless and until they are equal. If they are not equal, it will come out of that particular specific loop. Fine? Yes or no? So now we made sure that we have 2 numbers, left number and the right number, which are different from each other. And now we want to show them what? We have generated their numbers. So let me have this thing here. Okay. Generate numbers. It will generate 2 numbers and save them in these 2 variables, right number and the left number. Now we want another method that is private, and then we say that void, and then we say that set GUI. We don't want to generate only these left and right number, but we also want them to show on the screen, on the graphical user interface. So what we can do, we can say that left button, not number, left button dot set text, and again we have to provide a string. So we need to convert integer dot toString, and then we say left number. Similarly, we can go with the right button dot set text, integer dot toString, and then we say that right number. And the now, because this is also the GUI component, so we can put this thing here inside this one, set the scores as well. So because now everything in which we are trying to set the GUI, it will come down here. So we can call these methods here in the initialization phase. What you can set GUI. Now if I just try to run this application again, you can see that now we will have 2 numbers. So we have these 2 numbers. Now the point is, if I click on that, it does not do anything because we have not implemented that click event yet. What we can do, I mean, either you can define those things here. Maybe let me define a method here, which is like private. Private, it does not return me anything. It's left button clicked, it takes a view as an input. Okay, so when the left button clicked, what we want to do? We want to compare if the left number is greater than or not. If left number is greater than the right number, then we want to perform something different. In the else part, when they are not equal, when it is not the case, I mean left number is smaller because we have make sure they are not equal. So either it is greater or smaller. So what we want to do here?
Increase the score by 5.
So we can simply say score plus equal to 5, and then here we can say that score, because the user has clicked on the wrong number, so we can click equal to minus equal to 5. I mean, you know that score is equal to score plus 5. Whatever the previous value is, it will add 5 or subtract 5. Fine. Whenever we want to click, what else we want to do here? On those buttons, when we click, we decide on first thing. We want to increase the scores or we want to decrease the scores. Okay, fine. We have done that. Score values has been changed. Of course, here in the same method, we can say that set GUI. It will automatically change those values, score value. What else we want to do here? In that particular specific left button click event.
Generate more numbers.
Generate another pair of numbers. Okay, so before we can set the GUI, we can say that generate numbers. It means it will generate two new numbers into those left number and the right number variables. Anything else we want to do? We have changed these numbers, generating the new numbers so that it will be displayed different numbers next time. Whenever we click, it will change those numbers and it will also change the scores and set the GUI. Fine. The same thing we need to do on the right button as well. So maybe I can say that here, I just copy it from here and put it here. Now I can just say that right button, and then I can just change this particular specific. I mean, now the right button is greater, it means that's the right button. Add the score. If it is not, subtract the score, generate two number, set GUI. Now what we can do? We can assign these buttons on the click event of these buttons. So I can say that left button dot set on click listener, new on click listener, and then here we are going to call that particular left button clicked, and then we pass the view. Simple. Instead of writing that particular code here, I'm just separated them so that this particular part does not become very complex. Okay, the same thing we can do on the right button as well. Right button dot set on click listener, new on click listener, and then we say that right button clicked, and we are passing the view. It should work fine. Let's cross our fingers, see everything is working perfectly fine or not. Let me change. Look, it is subtracting, become -5. Okay, and then we can say that again subtract, so you can see that it's working. It's difficult game, I can't understand. It's really difficult, you know. So this is, you can see that we have implemented, I mean, we look at all those different things, how we can set the values. Now the things become, I mean, the background code can become as complex as possible depending on which specific functionality you want to implement behind those GUI components. Whenever we are hovering over this particular specific, I come over here, then I want to display a specific text view or the what you can say that hint or something like that.
How do you hover over something with a smartphone?
I mean, right now my cursor is here, so we need to set.
But if it was on a smartphone, you wouldn't be able to do that.
Let's see. I mean, maybe I say a focus or something like that. In the yeah, it's here. It's more like that. So I don't think so that function will be there. But it get focus and getting focus and getting out of focus. Focus change listener. So we can implement. We can make it as difficult as possible. I just give you a few simple examples in which we have implemented click event, changing the text inside the text views and so on. Any question till now? And let's stop that particular specific video before it becomes too big.